Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the math portion of the GRE. I have been solving math problems out of this book here, the one I'm holding in my hand here, the official guide to the GRE, the revised journal test. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you're going to find on page number 115. Page 115. This is today's day number 7. Let's take a look at it. We are told, this is the problem that you're going to find at the bottom of the page there. We are told that W is more than 1. That's what we are told. And we are asked to compare quantity 7W minus 4 versus quantity in second column, which is 2W plus 5. 2W plus 5. In a situation like this, this is called an algebraic expression. This is called an algebraic expression. These are not equations. An equation would have an equal sign. Had it been 2W plus 5 equals to 7, that would have been an equation. This is an expression. Whenever you are asked to compare two algebraic expressions in the two columns, the easiest and the simplest way to tackle the problem is to make sure that you bring all the variables, all the unknowns on one side and all the known quantity on the other side. It doesn't matter which column you shift everything to, but the tradition dictates that we bring all the unknowns to the left hand side, all the known quantities to the right hand side, which is just a tradition, it's just a convention. You can do it the other way around too. So let's bring all the W's on this side. Now in this case actually, had this 7W been there, I would have brought all the W's this side, because you see here we're going to bring this 2W here, because if we were to bring the 7W over there, we'll end up subtracting 7W's from here and 7W's from here in order to get rid of this 7W. But here we'll end up with a negative quantity. We'll end up with a negative 5W. I don't like dealing with negative coefficient. So to keep the coefficient positive, let's subtract 2W's from both sides. So here we have positive 2W and here we have negative W's, they cancel out. Here we have positive 7W and a negative 2W that gives us the positive 5W's. Now let's bring the number on that side. How do we bring this negative 4? How do we bring this negative 4 to this column? By adding positive 4 to both sides. If we add positive 4 to both sides, now we have here a negative 4 and a positive 4. A positive 4 and a negative 4 that will cancel out. And here we have positive 5 and a positive 4 that gives us positive 9. Now we need to W by itself. How do we get the W by itself? Here we have 5 W's. The easiest thing to do is to divide both columns by 5. I was about to say both sides of the equation, but this is not an equation here. But whatever it is that applies in the equation, whatever manipulation that you're allowed to do in an equation, you can do the exact same manipulation as long as you do it to the both columns. So divide both columns by 5. That means this 5 will cancel out with this 5, and we are left with W here, and here we have 9 over 5. Now what do we know about W? All we know about W is that it is more than 1. Okay, this is where the things get tricky. All we know is that it is more than 1, and therefore people in their haste just assume that, well, if W is more than 1, W has got to be at least 2, and 2 is more than 9 over 5, and they end up picking A for the answer choice. You got to slow down. You have to slow down and ask yourself, what happens in the weird scenario, in the wild scenarios, which is nice numbers and nasty numbers. Nice numbers are whole positive numbers like 2 or 3. If W is 2 or 3, then of course that's going to be more than 9 over 5. But what if W happens to be 0 or 1 or negative or fractions? These nasty scenarios is what you always have to contemplate before you pick an answer choice. These nasty scenarios here. Ask yourself, can W be 0? The answer is W cannot be 0 because we are told that W is more than 1. So that does not apply here. Can W be 1? Of course not, because we are told that it's more than 1. So that cannot be possible. Can W be a negative 2? Of course not. W cannot be negative because we are told that it is more than 1. But can it be fractions? This is where the things get tricky. Because when we talk about fractions, we're not talking about proper fractions. A proper fraction is where the top is less than the bottom. This is known as a proper fraction. On the other hand, had it been 14 over 5, it is still a fraction. It is an improper fraction. Improper fraction, or if you like, it is also sometimes called a mixed fraction. A mixed fraction because this is same as 2, which is 2 times 5 is 10, and 4/5. It is a fraction nonetheless. It is not a proper fraction, but it is fraction nonetheless. It is an improper fraction. So what happens? We are told that W is more than 1. I need the room, so I'm going to erase all of this thing. I shouldn't have put it here. I need the room, so I'm going to erase it. So what happens if W happens to be, we are told it's more than 1, and this is 9 over 5. What if W is 6 over 5? If W happens to be 6 over 5, 6 over 5 is less than 9 over 5, in which case the answer would be B. But what if W happens to be 60 over 5? In which case the answer would be 60 over 5 is 12, and of course 12 is more than 9 over 5, in which case the answer would be A. We have a conflicting answer here. All we know that a W is more than 1. But the question here is, what happens if W happens to be more than 1 but less than 9 over 5? It would still be more than 1, but it will be less than 9 over 5. Or it could be something more than 9 over 5. We do not know what W is. All we know is it's more than 1. So W could be, or W could just as well be, or W could just as well be, I'm going to show you one more scenario, or W could just as well be 9 over 5. It's more than 1. In which case the answer would be C. Since we have conflicting answer choices here, the correct answer is D. This last part that I did there is just to satisfy your curiosity here. It was not necessary, technically and strictly speaking. It was a waste of time, because as soon as you find the conflict, the answer is D. But I'm just trying to make you understand that the answer could very well turn out to be C, or A, or B. We do not know. That's all. That's all. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 8. And we'll keep on checking along. The idea, the project that I have undertaken, the idea is for us to solve every single math problem, every single one of them out of this book here, going through page by page, without skipping any page. I'm going to do every single problem, no matter how simple the problem may be, no matter how ridiculously easy it may be, or no matter how difficult it is, obviously, and no matter what type of question it is, we'll do every one of them. Alright? So if you are preparing for GRE, make sure you follow these videos and go in proper sequence so that you get the practice of doing all the problems, all the math problems. Don't skip anything. I'll see you tomorrow on day number 8. Okay? Bye now.